Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to tackle a massive misconception that's been taught in schools for generations. It's a fact so ingrained in American culture that questioning it feels almost like rewriting history itself. But what if I told you that Christopher Columbus, the man celebrated for discovering America, never actually set foot on the land that would become the mainland United States? I know, it sounds wild, right? We all have this image in our heads from textbooks. Columbus and his crew landing at Plymouth Rock or somewhere on the Florida coast, greeted by Native Americans. But that picture is completely wrong. So, where did Columbus actually go, and how did this huge misunderstanding start? Let's dive in. First, let's trace Columbus's actual voyages. Between 1492 and 1504, he made 4 trips across the Atlantic. On his famous first voyage in 1492, he wasn't aiming for North America at all. He was looking for a westward route to Asia. When he finally spotted land, it wasn't Florida or Virginia. He landed on an island in the Bahamas, which he named San Salvador. From there, he explored other Caribbean islands, including the northeastern coast of Cuba and the island of Hispaniola, which is now home to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Think about that for a second. His first and most famous voyage was entirely contained within the Caribbean. He was thousands of miles away from what we now call the United States. So what about his other 3 voyages? Surely he made it to the mainland then, right? Well, yes and no. He did reach the mainland, but it was the mainland of Central and South America. On his 3rd voyage in 1498, he explored part of the coast of modern-day Venezuela. And on his 4th and final voyage, in 1502, he sailed along the coasts of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, still desperately searching for a passage to the Indian Ocean. At no point during any of his 4 expeditions did Christopher Columbus ever see, let alone walk on, the soil of the North American mainland. The closest he ever got was Cuba, which is about 90 miles from Florida. The first documented European to arrive in what is now the mainland U.S. was actually another explorer, Juan Ponce de Leon, who landed in Florida in 1513. More than 2 decades after Columbus's first voyage. So, where did the myth come from? How did Columbus become the central figure in the story of America's discovery? The answer is a mix of politics, nationalism, and storytelling. In the late 18th century, as the newly formed United States was trying to create its own national identity separate from Great Britain, writers and historians started promoting Columbus as a heroic founding figure. He was Italian, sailing for Spain, which made him a non-British hero they could rally behind. Books like Washington Irving's 1828 biography, A History of the Life and Voyages of Christopher Columbus, were wildly popular, but also filled with romanticized and often fictionalized accounts. Irving portrayed Columbus as a visionary genius who defied a flat earth-believing world, which is another myth, by the way. Most educated people in the 15th century knew the earth was round. This heroic, almost mythical version of Columbus was easy to sell and became a cornerstone of American identity. The celebration of Columbus Day as a federal holiday in 1937 cemented his status in the national consciousness. It's a powerful reminder of how history is often shaped and simplified to fit a particular narrative. The real story is always more complex and, frankly, more interesting. Columbus was a pivotal figure who connected to hemispheres, kicking off an era of immense exchange and devastating consequences, but his direct role in the history of the United States is far different from what most of us were taught. So, the next time you hear someone talk about Columbus discovering America, you'll know the real story. He was an incredibly significant historical figure, but his feet never touched the ground of the mainland U.S. It was a fascinating piece of history that changes how we look at the very beginnings of the American story. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this as mind-blowing as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's biggest myths. Let me know in the comments what other historical facts you want me to investigate. See you in the next video.